Hello everyone, Drake Robinson here. Okay, so I recently got a comment that on one of my last I think it was on my Scream 6 video. Um Someone wanted me to do a Ghostface ranking video. I had no idea what that was, and then I looked it up, and apparently a lot of people do it where they rank their favorite Ghostface killers. And because Scream is one of my favorite franchises growing up, it was Scream, Texas Chainsaw, Child's Play, Halloween, Alien, uh, just so many iconic, horror movies back in the day, back when the world was actually sane, we weren't stuck in this blue pillar, um, filtered, PC world we are in today. Um, and everything's just ruined, everything's just woke, everything is just sucks nowadays, but I don't need to tell you guys that, you guys know that already. I guess, and because I always listen to you guys, I decided to jot down who my favorite ghost faces are and who my worst are, and I mean, it should be fairly obvious, who probably is going to be the top tier, but how I'm going to do it, a lot of people do worst to best. I'm going to do best to worst. So my best Ghostface out of all of them would be Billy Loomis. No, it's a shame. I don't know why Skeet Ulrich, is downgrading himself to be in these latest two installments of, Scream. It's just gone to the absolute crap hole, ever since R.I.P. to Wes Craven, a guy who actually knew how to write and knew how to direct. I'm sorry, Kevin Williamson. His absence in these latest two installments also was very obvious. But yeah, I don't know why Skeet. He just brought a very menacing, just very everything you could want in a villain. He was that. He was menacing. He was uncaring. He was, just downright, lethal. And even when he was, even his, his quietness and just his overall demeanor, I just loved it. I loved it. Like, you can't beat out, Billy Loomis. Has to be number one in the ranking list, always. Number two would be his accomplice, his partner in crime, Stu Macher. I mean, you can't beat Matthew Lillard and his portrayal, his overall just art that he brought to the Stu character. From what I understand, Stu was never really supposed to be, he was supposed to be a very one-dimensional, bland, boring character, but it was Matthew Lillard who brought him to life. Matthew Lillard really owned that role. Like, that role was designed for him. I couldn't imagine him being any other person in that movie. Like, Stu was just made for him. Like, of course I'm gonna have the OGs, Billy and Stu, as number one and number two. I mean, like, no one's gonna beat those two in the rankings. I'm sorry, in the top tier 1 to 2 slot. Like, no one can beat them. I don't care if Dwayne The Rock Johnson and God himself became Ghostface killers in a Scream movie. Like, you're not gonna beat them, like Billy and Stu, at all. Like, it's just impossible feat. But a person who comes very close, the closest probably to sort of matching Billy and Stu as far as, talent and charisma goes as a Ghostface killer, is Jill Roberts, who was played by Emma Roberts. She was Sidney's cousin in Scream 4. You find out, that she starts off as this very, kind of, just forgettable high schooler. But then once the third act hits and you find out she's revealed to be the killer all along, and she planned to have her own mother killed, and like, it's just like, wow. This is Sydney's own family. She was arguably the worst Ghostface of them all. Not worse as in bad, but like worse as in like the most evil. Like, she was definitely took the top spot as far as, one of the most evil ghost faces out there. She just didn't care in that third act scene where she just beats herself up. It's just awesome to see. I wish every blue pill in the world would do exactly what she would do right there to herself. What Emma Roberts does to herself in that third act scene. It's just, but all seriousness, that was a very, very, very well, very just epic, climax. Scream 4 is definitely very underrated. One of my favorite sequels of this entire franchise overall. But yeah, Jill number 3 for sure. She's the closest when it comes to Billy and Stu. Number 4 is Mickey Altieri, played by Timothy Oliphant. I just thought he's very similar to Stu, but also similar to Billy in a way. I don't know, he's like a weird mix of the two. He's very, out there like Stu is, but he's also very, like, kind of very menacingly, he can be very menacing and quiet, like Billy, and that's what really brings him to life. I like his motive, him wanting to be famous is from serial killing, I mean, Ted Bundy, let's call it for what it is. Ted Bundy is famous for that. John Wayne Gacy is famous for that. All the serial killers on planet Earth are still talked about to this day. So, like, so he had a point there. And that's what I'm saying. That's the originality from Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson. They actually know how to do stuff like that as far as motives go 10 times better than Radio something and whoever the Disney writers are for for Scream 5 and 6. Like, they know how to, like, do a motive where it's not overly stupid. Like, Mickey wants to blame the movies. And in this movie, I'll just get to the number 5. Number 5 is Mrs. Loomis. I liked her motive, played by Laurie Metcalf. I like her motive. It's just, it's nothing convoluted or anything. It's nothing, like herself even said, it's not as 90s as, Mickey's was, where he wanted to blame the movies. And like I said, Mrs. Loomis pointed out how ridiculous that was, because no one was going to believe him. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Taking the folk, not buying into the fact that movies create killers. But Scream 5 did that. Well, I'll get to that when I get to those killers, because they're not very high, I'll put it like that. So yeah, Mrs. Loomis, definitely. She's had that crazy demeanor. I guess we know why Billy is the way he was, because of her, and all that. It's a nice play off of Pamela Voorhees and the Friday the 13th, Jason's mother. So I really enjoyed that. Once again, exposes the expertise of the Craven Williamson connection, as I call them. Number 6 is going to be Roman Bridger from Scream 3. I put him at number 6 because he's the only Ghostface killer that does it solo dolo. He's the only one we know now. There's been conspiracy theories about a second killer and all that I've heard, but I never really believed that. I believe just give the devil his due. Roman was the only killer. He wanted to kill. Literally, he was the director. He was Sidney's half brother. who was kicked out, who his neglectful blue pillar mom didn't want him because she was a product of rape, because she wanted to be in the entertainment business so bad that she would literally do anything. So, and but it doesn't matter though. You still had the kid. If you wanted to abort it, you could have aborted it. I've always felt sorry for Roman. He's just a very, very down on his luck. I think at his core, he's a good guy. Deep down, he's just very upset, and I understand why. I mean, can you imagine your own mother not wanting you just because you didn't come out the way that she wanted you to? She obviously wanted Sydney. She gave Sydney everything. But, Roman just gets tossed in the dirt, has the door shut in his face. Like, how, that right there is a blue pillar, the privileged blue pillar Stacy all the way through and through. Like, you can't tell me that that's not what it is. But yeah, so Roman, yeah, he's the only killer in Scream 6. He gets the coveted, he gets the number 6 spot. Number 7 goes to Charlie Walker, Jill's accomplice in Scream 4. I don't care what anyone says. Charlie deserves to be higher on on a lot of people's list. I don't know what the only reason they hate him is because he for the most part is because he's an incel. Well, no, not even that. It's because he's a good guy. He's a good guy who got manipulated by this girl, and they think and of course to the blue pillars they take that for weakness, even though they will never understand it because they just won't understand. And plus, Charlie gets the most brutal kills out of literally anyone in this entire franchise. That kill in Olivia's bedroom where she's literally gutted like a fish. Like, how much more can you do? And he stabs Anthony Anderson in the head. And Anthony Anderson's all fighting the air and stuff like that. That is iconic right there. He did that. And the only, like I said, the only reason people dislike him so much because he's a good guy, and because he he isn't a blue pillar, and he doesn't he didn't subscribe to their beliefs, so they're taking their anger out on him and stuff like that. And so that's the only reason why he's not higher on the list. A lot of these blue pillar YouTubers list is because they hate him for that reason. No other reason than that. And they say that he has no personality. Well, did Amber really have a personality? Heck no. Amber was obvious from the get-go. She was the killer. And matter of fact, I'll get to her once I get to the once I get a little further down the list. So number 8, I would have to say goes to Jack Quaid. Only because I semi-enjoyed his performance in Scream 5, even though I hated the movie with all my heart and soul. But, I thought he did a relatively good job. I think he could have worked maybe in a Wes Craven directed Scream movie, definitely. Not in a radio, whatever their name is, related Scream movie, because it just didn't do him wonders at all. Their motive was dumb. Their motive was just so lame. Like, I'm a movie fan, so that's why and because I want the movies to go back to the way that I want to go back to how they originally were. I'm going to kill a bunch of people with my girlfriend, and the movie Hollywood people will do a play off of that. I don't know. This is the motive made no sense. Obviously, it was to poke fun at fans who didn't like Star Wars because Disney related content, Star Wars, to make fun of people who didn't like the Last Jedi and just say that they're bad people and that they're killers who are gonna murder you in your sleep. You know, that's exactly what these Disney writers wrote into there to take shots at people like myself and all of you out there who thought that movie was absolute dog mess. Just like they thought we think Scream 5 is dog mess. And like, yeah, it didn't help at all. It just didn't. And so, yeah, Richie, as far as he goes as a character, you know, he was what he was. And, you know, I guess, he was the best actor in that movie, I can honestly say with all my heart, with all, you know, with all my, besides the original cast, he was probably the best. So yeah, that's why he's at number, that's why he's at number 8. Number 9 is gonna go to his girlfriend, Amber. I mean, what else is there to say? And she like has this like whole stand thing Amber does, and it's like, what is so great about her? Like, I don't know. Like, the only thing I can think of people like her so much is because she's a chick, and you know she's a fairly attractive chick, and so all the blue pillar men out there are cremating themselves over the thought of being stabbed by her. That's the only reason why I can think she has such a following and why people like her so much. I don't get it. Like, I would never understand that. Like, I'm supposed to believe that she's able to manhandle a trained police officer, Dewey, and like lift him up in the air with 2 knives. Like, get out of here, man. I'm not buying into that woke stuff. See, that's more woke stuff. See, females can do what men can do. No, they can't. Because I believe in science, and that's not a thing. I'm sorry. And she gets that kill. She didn't deserve that kill. We don't know who the hell this bitch was. I'm sorry, but we don't know who she was. She was a non-character pretty much throughout the entire friend group. She was an obvious killer. I pegged her the first scene I saw her in. Yeah, but I'm supposed to believe that she's, you know, fighting with guys freaking 9 feet taller than her. Like, get the freak out of here, man. I'm not buying into that at all. Anyway, number 10 would go to Detective Bailey. Just for this guy, what is there not to say about this freaking guy, man? Dermot Mulvaney, I think is his name. I've probably seen him in a couple of things in the past, but it's been a long time. I don't know if his acting skills have deteriorated since then, embarrassingly deteriorated since then, but his performance was god awful. Probably one of the worst performances I've seen in a third act. And like, not that Scream 6 was anything to write home about, but my god, did that third act just make me want to just get up and walk out and not care about whatever happened. Like, the only reason, because I paid money. That's the only reason why I stayed. The only reason. And I wanted to see the dumpster fire. I wanted to do the review right after I got home, because I felt so validated. I knew what the movie was gonna suck. I knew it was, but this just didn't help at all. So yeah, Dylan Mulvaney, like, his line delivery was the most cringe-worthy thing in the world. What did he say? What? That's not true. Or no. Fuck with my family. You die. Fuck with my family, and you die. Like, I can't. It got a little chuckle, but not in a good way. It's a chuckle like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But like, of course, it's Scream 6. What can we expect? Number 11 would go to Ethan. What else is there to say? Number 11 goes to nothing. That's what I thought. Number 11 goes to Ethan. Number 12 goes to what's your face? Richie's sibling, the promiscuous college hussy. What's your face? I forgot her name, but the blonde chick or the red. Does she have blonde or red hair? I don't know. The blonde chick, who I'm supposed to believe that, given the dialogue we get in the third act, she was the one who attacked Gail in her apartment. And she's the one who threw her big ass, fucking, 12 feet tall, muscle bound, steroided jarhead of a boyfriend through a plate glass window. Like I said, more woke stuff in this film. Like, and killed him. And man, do a lot of these chicks from the original Scream movie love the BBC. I just have to say, you know, Randy's sister loves the BBC. Now we know Gail, since Dewey's gone, she's fell into that trap with the BBC. Sydney, for all we know, we never got to see her family. For all we know, Sydney could be, you know, rocking with the BBC as well. Man, all the OG females from the original Scream cast, they just magically fell in love in 2023 with the BBC. That's all there is there. But yeah, hope you guys, I think that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you to the commenter in my Scream 6 review for commenting that, for giving me the suggestion to do this, and because I'm so nostalgic for this franchise, and I'm so just heartbroken how, you know, how trash it's become since the unfortunate passing of Wes Craven. I just have to say that, you know, thank you for suggesting I do this video. I really appreciate it, and hope y'all enjoyed.